G'day, I'm Andrew Marshall with the Northern Australia Climate Program at the University of Southern Queensland, and this is a short summary of the Bureau of Meteorology's climate outlook for the Northern Territory for the weeks and months ahead, issued on the 26th of September 2024. So we'll take a look at the rainfall outlooks to begin with, starting with the outlook scenarios, and this is the rainfall totals that have a 75% chance of occurring for your region. So looking at the 3 months from October to December as we move into the wet season for Northern Australia, we're seeing a 75% chance of up to about 50 millimetres of rain or so for parts of the territory, including around the Alice Springs region, increasing as we head north up to 400 millimetres or more around the Darwin region. And if you'd like to drill a little deeper into the forecast, you can use this magnifying glass feature where you can specify a location and a little box appears which breaks the forecast down into the chance of different rainfall amounts occurring. And this will give you an idea of how conditions are likely to be compared to the historical median. Just ask your local climate mate to go through this with you in more detail. Now taking a quick look at the Bureau's outlook for the northern rainfall onset issued on the 29th of August. This is the last issue of the northern rainfall onset forecast for the coming wet season. For most of the Northern Territory, the onset is likely to be earlier than average or close to the normal onset date, although some western regions are indicating a later than usual onset. And now let's look at temperatures, and the differences from average here for maximum temperature show warmer conditions across large parts of the north and cooler conditions elsewhere, with some southern parts of the territory expecting around 3 degrees below average for the week of the 1st to the 7th of October. And for the following week, from the 8th to the 14th, we are expecting warmer than average conditions across the territory. And here the average is calculated over the 1981 to 2018 period for this time of year. For minimum temperature, we're looking at warmer than average conditions for much of the territory over the next 2 weeks. Now looking at the chance of extremes map for the 3 months from October to December, we're seeing an elevated chance of unusually warm days and nights across the territory. And by unusually warm, we mean the highest 20% of historical temperature records for this time of year based on the 1981 to 2018 period. Now, these long-range forecasts are influenced by several climate factors, so let's have a quick look at the latest climate driver update from the Bureau. And the El Niño Southern Oscillation is currently neutral, with 3 of the 7 climate models that the Bureau surveys suggesting the possibility of La Niña conditions from October. The remaining 3 are in the neutral range, but close to the La Niña threshold. And if a La Niña does develop in the coming months, it is likely to be relatively weak and short-lived. And remember that signs of La Niña are most relevant to the climate of the tropical Pacific region, and that the long-range forecasts for Australian rainfall and temperature provide better guidance for local climate. Now, the Indian Ocean Dipole, or the IOD, is currently neutral, and most climate models suggest the IOD is likely to remain neutral but slightly negative for the rest of the year. Also keep in mind that the IOD forecast skill is typically low at this time of year, beyond about 2 months ahead. And as for our other climate drivers, the MJO, the Madden Julian Oscillation, is currently over the central to eastern Pacific region with moderate strength, but it is forecast to weaken in the week ahead. And finally, the Southern Annular Mode, or the SAM, is forecast to be negative over the next week before returning to neutral in early October. So finally, turning to the pasture growth outlook from long paddock for the 3 months from September to November, we're expecting to see varying amounts of pasture growth returning to northern, central and eastern parts of the country in response to the expected rainfall in the months ahead. So as always, for more climate information updates, visit the Bureau's climate pages at bom.gov.au/climate. If you have any questions about recent conditions or the use of weather and climate forecasts, please reach out to your local climate mate. You can read more about the Northern Australia Climate Program at nacp.org.au. See you next month.